mambo machache.
Homa Bay oye! Homa Bay oye! Poka winjo Homa Bay oye! To Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and all Cabinet Secretaries who are here, including the Prime Cabinet Secretary, to our leader, Raila Amolo Odinga, to Min Piny Nyawang'aya, gi jotelo duto mochopo kae. Atimo mos ahinya, nachopo ka weche mang'eny osewachi, to an bende an kodu e wechego duto mosewachi. Adwana nuoyo mana kapok aloso kuom Phoebe ni an Orengo nyatieng' ngima, an Orengo kidi. Onge kama dhiye Korea karoch baraj. I want to say a few words because this is a very solemn occasion. This lady here, I can say honestly, if we trace back to the movement for human rights and talking about women's rights being human rights, Phoebe Asio was ahead of her time. She started that struggle before independence and continued with it. I can say that I'm one of the few people who are privileged to have served with Phoebe Asio in Parliament. At the time when Phoebe was first elected in Parliament, it was a very difficult time for women leaders to be in Parliament. I know now Homa Bay has taken the lead. We have more women elected in Homa Bay County more than anywhere else. And this is a great testimony to Phoebe Asio. I knew at the time when Phoebe used to take up very serious issues in Parliament. The Parliament at that time, those who were there with me at that time, there were so many male charlatans, many male chauvinists, and many male misogynists, and would not entertain women being leaders in Parliament. And for that matter, I honor her and I thank the state for giving her such a wonderful send-off. But one thing that I wanted to say in conclusion, there's a trend in Kenya where we are very shy at rewarding heroes. We remember them when they die. But when we think about their role, particularly those who have fought very hard for independence in this country, they have not given their rightful place in the nation called Kenya. If you think of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who said, no Kenyatta, no uhuru without Kenyatta. But as we speak today, there is no national monument in Nairobi named after Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And that is a trend in this nation that we must correct. In this county, I can tell you, without fear of contradiction, the person who brought UNEP to Kenya is Odero Joy. There's a time when you had any leader coming from abroad, the first person they would ask you about is Odero Joy. We have all forgotten about Odero Joy. So I ask the leadership that are here, let us try to remember our leaders who have fought for hard, including Tom Mboya. I'm very unhappy that Mboya's monuments are only here in Mutembei. Mboya should have been named a big thing in Nairobi. And Mboya played a significant role. So I hope that with this new spirit that is coming up, this new committee that is going to look into issues of those who are assaulted or suffered during the demonstrations, that this is a new awakening, that Kenya is a democratic nation that believes in human rights. Thank you very much. Erokamano
Nyatieng. Allow me now to invite Her Excellency Canon Dr. Ida Betty Odinga Menping. Karibu Menping.
To Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Samoei Ruto, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, the leadership of the church, the family, all protocols observed, ladies and gentlemen, amoso nukwe uru, okwe uru. God is good all the times. That is his nature. Now, as I stand here, you can see I've been escorted by great women of Kenya. I'm sure they were introduced earlier on, and therefore I don't need to introduce them again. But I'm happy. Today, we've come to celebrate life. We've come to celebrate the life of Mama Phoebe Asio. Mama Phoebe Asio is somebody who is known and who was loved by most of us. Maybe I say all of us. When I was young, mineka urukwe matin. Wabro wacho kata gidholuo buro winjo bende. As we were growing up, we used to look up to Mama Phoebe Asio. And we used to say that when I grow up, I would like to be like Mama Phoebe Asio. Now, some of us are grown up now, but I don't know whether we are like her or not. Mama Phoebe Asio was an icon. Mama Phoebe Asio was a role model. Mama Phoebe Asio was the first in many fields. We learned a lot from Mama Phoebe Asio. I know everybody has got something to say, personal relation with Mama Phoebe. Let me just tell you something. At the event of multi-party in 1991, 92, I had not met Mama Phoebe Asio personally, though I was a great admirer of Mama Phoebe. And one time, you know, that's the time when things happen. So many things were happening. For those who don't know, I became jobless, and I decided to go and work in the office of the opposition leader, and the opposition leader at that time was none other than my father-in-law, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. So as I was working as an office manager and everything in that office, one day he called me around 10:30, and he told me, "Can you go and get for me Nyagoro? I want to have lunch today with Nyagoro." Now, Nyagoro is another name for Mama Phoebe Asio. I had no idea who was Nyagoro. I kept on asking people, who is Nyagoro? And Mzee wants me to bring Nyagoro here in 2 hours' time. When I went round, there was one confidant of Jaramogi called Luko Bok, told me that is Phoebe Asio. Then I said, where on earth would I find Phoebe? He gave me the number, and I called Phoebe, and Phoebe came, and that was the first time I met Phoebe, and that was the beginning of my relationship with Phoebe. It was a great meeting. At that time, Phoebe was doing many things, but I took Phoebe as my personal mentor. And anything that I was doing, I would consult with Mama Phoebe. And one of the things that we did, I was advised at that particular time that I should start a women organizations, because you know that's the time, sorry to say this, that's the time I was in many problems. I was a teacher, I asked the NAT to help me to sort out my problems. NAT said that is political, we cannot help you. I went to Maendeleo ya Wanawake, and suddenly Maendeleo ya Wanawake had become KANU Maendeleo ya Wanawake, so they could not help me. But I was advised by none other than Professor Nyang' Nyong'o, who we have just been here, to start an organization that represents women in Kenya from all spheres and all political parties. And we started the League of Kenya Women Voters. And Mama Phoebe Asio was the advisor. And you know, for the first time, in the election that was carried out in 1992, had many women. All those women had passed through the League of Kenya Women Voters, and that's how it opened the work. Now, in 1995, there was the Beijing conference, which brought about the 1/3 gender rule. Many people did not understand what it was all about. And still, today, we, the women of Kenya, we are still working towards the 1/3 gender rule. I think the only county that has reached that level is Mutembei County, which has 50% leadership in politics. Now, having said that, we did many things with Mama Phoebe. There was a time when Mama Phoebe asked me that her son, Caesar, wanted to marry, and asked me to mobilize women so that we go to Kabarnet to ask for Connie's hand to marry Caesar. And I collected many women. I think out here, what I can see here, I think it's only Ivo Bara who was with us. There were many others. There was Felgono Kundi. There was Felgona Momanyi. There were many others. And we went there and we sweet talk to the people of Kabarnet. It also happened that I was born in Kabarnet, so it was easy to talk to my people in Kabarnet to allow us. I'm being told it's almost time. So we did that. Mama Phoebe story cannot be told in a day. Jothurwa, Jothurwa, Jothurwa. Sigand Mama Phoebe bor. To wabro romo chieng moro. Wabro romo. Mondo aywag Mama Phoebe di maber. Mondo aywage maber. Mondo wach weche duto mwadwa wacho. Mondo anene kwa nyalo bedo. Nwa nyalo follow. Wanyalo luwo bang Mama Phoebe maber. Mondo anene kwa nyalo medo. Joma mine etelo mar piny ni. Aneno kuyiego erokamano. Koro kwatieko alamo mana Nyasaye mondo ket chuny Mama Phoebe kama ber e polo malo nyaka chieng' moro rom kode nikech thought is a must. Ok wanyal stope. Gima tin go erokamano kuom biro mondo akaw nya goro ka wuodhe mogik e pinyni. Erokamano mad Nyasaye gwedhu. You finished, eh? Yeah.
Aya, erokamano ahinya min piny. Thank you so much. Wapamne min piny kodok. Asante sana. Your Excellency, I would now like to hand over the program as I invite another of our very own sons ambao tumekuwa na yeye hapa ndani ya ODM, tumetembea pamoja, our Prime Cabinet Secretary of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Musalia Mudavadi. Warua kuru jatelo.
Asante sana Governor Gladys Wanga. Mheshimiwa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Mheshimiwa William Samoei Ruto, ndugu yetu mkubwa the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, Ward Mary, Mama Aida Odinga, viongozi wote, governors, wajumbe, waombolezaji. Ujumbe wangu wa kwanza, Mheshimiwa Rais, utaenda kwa familia na jamii ya Mama Phoebe Asio wakiongozwa na rafiki yetu Siza Asio. Kwa niaba yangu binafsi na kwa niaba ya mke wangu Tesi, natoa rambirambi za kiroho kabisa kwa familia yote kwa jumla ya Mama Phoebe Asio. Yangu yatakuwa machache sana kwa sababu nataka tupate nafasi tusikize viongozi wetu ambao wako hapa. Lakini nitaomba ruhusa niseme tu mawili, Mheshimiwa Rais. Kwanza, nataka nizungumze kuhusu broad-based government. Kabla sijamshukuru Mheshimiwa Raila kwa msimamo wake na wewe, nataka niseme hivi. The broad-based government is not about self-preservation of leaders. The broad-based government is about preservation of the state, preservation of the nation. It's about preserving peace. It's about preserving stability. It's about preserving equity. It's about preserving and creating stable institutions which shall be inherited by our children and our children's children. Tunasema hivyo kwa sababu watu wengi wanajaribu kutupa matope kwa uhusiano wa Mheshimiwa William Ruto na Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Mimi nataka niwaambie, hata wakijaribu, hawa viongozi wetu wawili wameonyesha kwamba taifa na usalama wa taifa unashinda tamaa yote nyingine ya ulimwengu. Kwa hivyo ningependa tu kusema kwamba sisi tunaungana kabisa, kwa sababu tunataka Kenya inawiri. Tunataka Kenya iwe na amani. Tunataka uchumi wetu upanuke zaidi. Na ndio kwa sababu sisi tuko kwa huo msimamo wa kusema tunataka broad-based government na tunataka inclusivity katika taifa letu. Ukiona mtu anatembea kule, anauza ukabila mpaka hata wenyeji wake wanaanza kumwambia tumechoka, basi ujue sasa huyo jamaa siasa yake duni imeanza kufika ukingoni. Jambo langu la pili, Mheshimiwa Rais, ni kusema tu kwamba uamuzi ambao umeonekana kwa kidete chako leo kuteua mechanism ama kuunda jopo ambalo litasaidia kuangazia na kusaidia wale kwa bahati mbaya waliuawa ama walipoteza maisha yao katika harakati za kama ni maandamano kwa sababu ya mambo ya katiba. Ni vizuri sana jambo hili limetokea. Na Mheshimiwa Rais, ningependa kusisitiza kwamba Kenya wakati huu muhula wa 2025 hadi 2027, Kenya is a member of the Human Rights Council of the United Nations. We have a seat there. Kwa hivyo msimamo ambao umechukua na uamuzi na tekelezo ambalo limetendeka ni la muhimu sana, kwa sababu hakuna mtu yeyote angependa kuona damu ikimwagika. It's a very courageous decision, but it is also the right decision, and we hope and trust that tukienda mbele, this will not be a recurrent process in our republic. We want to move forward in unison. La mwisho, nataka tu nimuunge Anyang' Nyong'o kwamba tuchunge wakina mama wetu wasiuawe kiholela holela, wasidhulumiwe, wasiaibishwe, wasiweke kwa mtandao kwa njia ambayo sio ya heshima. Tunataka heshima ya mama wetu ilindwe na ijengwe. Hapo ndio taifa kubwa la maana litaepuka. Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi nilikuwa na nafasi kuwa kwa bunge pamoja na Mama Phoebe Asio. We were toddlers kwa siasa. And Mama Phoebe Asio, and then there was Mama Grace Ogot. These were very a dynamic duo in Parliament. Very constructive in their debate, and also very humorous when it came to time to be humorous, and very compassionate and very focused. So today, may Mama Phoebe's soul rest in eternal peace. Sasa ni nafasi yangu ya kiheshima kumwalika mtoto wa hapa Ward Mary, kwa sababu nimesikia Gladys Wanga akisema mambo ya ODM. Ni kweli, nimeona hapa kuna watatu ambao walikuwa kwa Pentagon kwa ODM, na yule alikuwa kiongozi wetu kwa hiyo Pentagon ni Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Sasa nataka tuchukue fursa hii tumsimamishe Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga aje hapa mbele atuzungumzie, alafu yeye ndiye ataalika Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya. Asante.
Haya. Jothurwa wabiro kawuono gikuyo mako Phoebe Nyagoro. Wabiro yewimo atung piny biro kae kawuono. Adwa wacho gi dhok moro mokwongo eka abiro wacho gi dhowa. We have come here today to mourn a great Kenyan lady, a matriarch in all sense of the word. Phoebe's life is an exemplification of humanism. She ranks among some of the greatest women in the world. So we have come today to celebrate her life, not to mourn. Because at 92, Phoebe has seen it all. She rose from childhood at the time when there's a lot of discrimination against women, and managed against all the odds at that time to secure education up to a high level and becoming a teacher. One of those she taught there in central Kenya was a member of parliament with us, Mutere Kiriri. Mutere Kiriri used to tell us how Phoebe used to teach them how to dress properly in those years. She then became the first African woman to become a leader of maendeleo ya wanawake against white women. And when independence came, she was working with the prison department. Jaramogi, as Minister for Home Affairs, was in charge of prisons, made her a superintendent of prisons, became a senior superintendent of prisons. And in that capacity, she helped to develop the Langata Women Prison to create conditions of humanity in the prisons there. And then she worked with children after that. She worked with children and promoted the development of children, orphans, children which were disabled, and so on. That is another contribution that Phoebe made. And then she became a politician. And as you have been told, if you go into the Hansard, you will see Phoebe's contribution in Parliament. When she stood to talk in Parliament about women's rights, you would sit down and just listen and cheer her. She was very passionate about women's rights. She elevated women issues to the national level. And she was fearless. Phoebe was also compassionate. Uhuru has told you the relationship between us, our family, and the family of Phoebe. Jaramogi and Phoebe's father, the late Pastor Joel Omer, were the founders of Luo Union East Africa. Jaramogi became the first Kir, Joel Omer became the deputy Kir. Late Mr. Adano Tuko became the Secretary General of Luo Union. And it is through Mr. Joel Omer that Uhuru came to study this other side of Nyanza. We used to meet Phoebe in those years when she was young. And therefore, Phoebe is like my elder sister. Here in this family, all her other brothers, some of them late, most of them late, and sisters. We are family with the Omers. But Phoebe has also several connections here. Her grandmother came from another clan of Karachuonyo. She herself lived in another clan of Karachuonyo. Then she's married to another clan of Karachuonyo. That's why when she decided to come into politics, she was unbeatable in Karachuonyo. She stood against Okikamayo and won. Amayo appealed, and there was a by-election here in Karachuonyo. We came to Karachuonyo here with Orengo Jimmy here. Kajiwad Gadongo. Asoko Jaka John. Here, Phoebe's symbol was the house. And that by-election was contested. It was a serious by-election because the entire government machinery was supporting Okikamayo. But we came here, descended this place like bees. And we had a Soka Jaka John with this kinanda. Odds. Karachuonyo. Odds. Nyagoro. Odds. Kende mwago ni ombulu. Phoebe wacho. Odds. Asiyo wacho. Odds. Okachi wacho. Odds. Karachuonyo wacho. Odds. Odds. Kende mwago ni ombulu. She was re-elected resoundingly. And after this momentum that we had gathered here in Karachuonyo, we descended into Ugenya. There was another by-election in Ugenya. And that by-election again, we put Orengo Simba. And Simba also won against another minister, Matthew Sugutu. Then we moved up to central Kenya at that time. We had created a wave at that time, which was very powerful. Phoebe did not let us down when she went to Parliament. She went to Parliament and continued to fight for the rights of Kenyans that we had all been talking about. Later on, we joined with Phoebe in 1992 in Ford, Kenya. And she became a member of Parliament for Karachuonyo once again. And we were there together up to 1997. Jaramogi died when we were together with Phoebe. And Phoebe was one of the people who actually held my hand at that time and asked me to forget what had happened and to move on. She was one of the people who consoled me at that very difficult time. So that's why I'm so happy today that the government of President Ruto has accepted to give Phoebe this kind of burial that she richly deserves as a hero. as a hero. And Mr. President, I want you to follow it up by dedicating a monument in Nairobi in honor of Madam P.B. Asio Nyaguru. Because P.B. deserves it. P.B. has done what many people have not been able to do. And that's why we are all here today. I want to say now, we are here as Kenyans today. We know where we are coming from. We were in a very serious situation sometime last year. Everybody knows where we were. There was a possibility of Kenya degenerating into a failed state like Somalia, like Sudan today. People who do not understand history talk very easily. But ask them, tell them, what happened in Libya? What happened in Egypt after the Arab Spring? What happened? Where was the terrorist square crowd not able to move in and take the government and form a government? Where do you have a military regime in Egypt today after the Arab Spring? Even Tunisia. People do not really understand. That's why they make it very simple. And it's very easy for them to write articles in newspapers. I read them and I just laugh. They tried to trivialize what was a very serious situation. So what we have today is basically something that we were forced into because of the circumstances that were existing at that time. I want to invite somebody to tell me their own solution, how this would have been solved. We sacrificed so that there could be peace in this country. And that's the reason why we are here today. I do not regret what we did. We did it in the best interest of our country. And Kenya must move forward. But we have continued to say that we need to improve our governance structure. Issues of human rights must be respected. We must ensure that people live well. We must ensure that our people have food, that our people have shelter, that our people have work, that our people, when they are sick, they can be treated, that our children will go to school. This is very, very important to us. This is very important indeed. And that the cost of living need to be brought down. And that it must be rule of law. That the security forces are there to protect the people. The police are servants of the people, not masters. The police need to be civil to the population. If you have committed an offense, arrest me. Take me to prison, take me to court. And let the court find me guilty and imprison me. But do not use your own weapon to assassinate me. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot to kill. Don't shoot to kill. Don't shoot to maim. Arrest and charge in a court of law. That's what is called rule of law. And we have sat together and reviewed the MOU that we signed last year, this year. And we have now put together a framework to ensure that the MOU is implemented to the letter. This is going to happen. Those who have been maimed, those who have been injured, those who have been in hospital, and those who have died, the families of those who have died will be compensated. And we said we go back to just not 2024, 2023, 22, we go back to 2017. From 2017 up to today, all those people who have been maimed, have been killed and so on, the families are going to be compensated. And we have got to put in place a framework for that to happen. Secondly, we have also a structure of how to ensure that the MOU itself is implemented to the full. And that's why next week we are going to have a joint parliamentary group meeting to ensure that our members of parliament implement what we need, put up structures in place so that we can be able to implement what we've agreed on. This is going to happen. So I just want to say, the naysayers, give us space, give us room, give us, and judge us in 2027. And we've said this is going to remain in place up to 2027. After that, we will see where we go to. If you are saying one term, so what? The Kenyans who will decide the term, and we will see where we want to go. I am confident when that time comes, we will face Kenyans squarely and tell Kenyans, this is why we did ABCD, this is where we want to go. Utasema yako, tutasema yetu. Tuone Wakenya watamini nani. So hivyo mimi sina wasiwasi. Piga kelele. Piga kelele namna hiyo. Bweka tu. Kongo hiyo ni kama hiyo ngurumo ya chura. Ngurumo ya chura haizui ng'ombe kunywa maji. Ng'ombe itakunywa maji. We will be able to move beyond 2027. I'm confident we will move beyond 2027. Nobody should try to threaten us. We are Kenyans like you are Kenyans. Don't go and say that Kenyans is sectionalized. Sisi ni watu wa bahari. Sisi ni watu wa ziwa, kanda ya ziwa Victoria. Sisi ni watu wa bonde la ufa. Sisi ni watu wa milima. Sisi zote ni wa Kenya. We are all Kenyans. All and every Kenyan matters. It's not a question of blood relationship. Oh, you're our cousins. You're our cousins. You're our cousins. So those are your cousins. Those who are not your cousins, what are they? Are they not Kenyans? Are they not Kenyans? Don't tell us also that there is the government has got shareholders. Watu wengine wako na share mingi, wengine wana kidogo, wengine hawana shares. Then why are you collecting taxes from those who don't have shares? Why do you tax them? You collect shares, money from them, and you say they don't deserve services because they did not vote for you. Shame on you. Shame on you. We want to live a civilized society in a civilized manner, in a humane manner. You want Kenyans to be proud as Kenyans. Kenya is a great country. Kenya is a great country. Kenya can transition to a first world. There's no reason why Kenya cannot move the way Kenyans equivalents have done. We can do it when we create enabling environment for Kenyans to thrive. Kenyans can excel. I've seen Kenyans excel elsewhere. I've seen countries much poorer than Kenya transition and become first world. Korea is one. Vietnam was bombarded by Americans for many years. Nobody believed that people remaining in Vietnam. Today, Vietnam's economy is up there. Energy consumption in Vietnam today is 70,000 megawatts. Kenya is only 3,500. We'll go that route. There are many things that can be done here. When we sit down and plan properly, Kenya will be able to take off. Mr. President, we had Vision 2030. This has not been followed very well. As we now want to work with you, we want to ensure that we bring Vision 2030 back on the table. We also revive the NESC, National Economic and Social Council, so that all those flagship projects that we coined during that time can be revived and make sure that they're all moving together, going in the right direction. This will help us as a country. So I'm saying this as just a Kenyan patriot who is thinking about Kenya. Kenya number 1, Kenya number 2, Kenya number 3. This is where we are. At this juncture now, I also want to congratulate Harambee Stars for making us proud twice. Making us proud. Harambee Stars are showing what other Kenyans do not know exists. And this is the spirit that we want to continue to hail. So, Yathurwa, wako Nyagoro, Gimor. Nyagoro tiyo matek. Nyagoro tiyo matek ahinya. Omiyo nyaka koe gi sironyo. Otiyo matek kata kineno nyithindegi, ineno sisaka, ineno nyigegi duto te yawuotegi. Chodala kageki. Otingo malo. Dala kaka asiyo. Nechalo dala waka. Obiro kaeri, seje duto te ka aduong' asiyo ne entie, kore gi Phoebe Nyagoro. Aduong' asiyo ne ero chung' motegno, osiro Phoebe go gitoke. Emomiyo kadi